Al thinks that we're all going to turn into pigs.
90% pig and 10% human.
And then they take the organ back out and give it to a human when they need it.
Who?
It would ruin everything.
If it was like, hey, we're going to cut your legs off.
Yeah, I know. I think you're the moral problem I'm talking about.
But can pigs swim? Because I feel like on this island.
Welcome back to the Alpha Hour podcast, where a couple of betas try to pretend like we're alpha, even though we're not, and we definitely never will be. This episode is one of my favorites. We start talking about human pigs, or pig people. Trust me, I was very weirded out when we were filming this, but enjoy the show.
Talking off camera, Sean mentioned that. What exactly did you say?
I was joking. I know you're passionate about, I made a joke to Jared because he's uninformed on, kind of some of the testing that they're doing. And I'm like, oh, he thinks that humans and pigs are going to become the same with the bullshit.
Oh.
Al thinks that we're all going to turn into pigs?
No, that's not what it was. What happened was that we were out drinking with our one buddy and with our wives, and somehow it got brought up that with pigs. And I was like, that there's they're making human pig chimeras. And
where? In the United States? And
yes.
How do you know all this stuff?
There's
I
a decent
read
amount out there.
And now, and then what's happened since that point was that they've came out and they've talked about how, they're doing these human pig genetic heart transplants, and they've always used pigs.
Who?
The medicine has always used pigs.
Pig medicine in the United States? Oh, okay.
Pig valves. But they're now splicing their DNA and they're creating human pig hybrids.
We just turned into an Alex Jones podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Just turned into.
But
that's what this episode is. Just
all right. Well, let's go with it then.
Let's go.
But that is a goddamn thing, and this is where I need a computer to find these articles and show you. But it's true, and if you go look up human pig chimera, you will see it, and it's not wacky. And the thing is, then the question becomes, what do you do with that thing?
Yeah.
Does it have animal rights? Does it have human rights? What the fuck is it? They're getting to a point with CRISPR and shit. They can do whatever they want. They could literally take that thing and do whatever they wanted. They could take a human now and do whatever they wanted. And it's getting to a weird point where there's going to have they're going to have to develop a full ethics board on this shit for stuff that you could not simply do.
Are there leaked documents? Is that how you hear about this? Or
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Well, there was a guy that literally had
a
main organ.
Yeah.
That's where they kind of they're towing the line quite a bit. And
yeah.
then I was like, what? Was it a heart or a lung or whatever it was? I don't know.
They talked about how they're growing these human hearts in pigs. So they're giving up the game.
So it's not like a petri dish. They're actually
in human organs in pigs.
And then they take the organ back out and give it to a human when they need it. So that guy, what did he last, 3 months?
Yeah, he didn't do that good.
Yeah.
So they're growing they're growing a pig.
Yeah, from what I understand.
And with the intention of taking the organs and implanting it into a human.
Yeah.
So it can't be a normal pig, I'm assuming.
What was that movie? Remember that movie called The Island?
Pigman.
Remember that movie called The Island?
Yes.
Where they
Leonardo DiCaprio?
I forget who was in it, but they would let's not get into actors. We're not good at that.
We can't talk about it.
But what they would do was they would take you'd be out in the world and they'd clone you and they'd put your ass on an island, the clone version of you, and all that cloned version was they would feed you this perfect diet and do all these things and do all this, and they would just use you for your organs to keep you on the outside world alive. That shit is coming. I'm telling you, we are not that far. That's the direction we're going.
All right, but we need to...
It's I get why humans do go in that direction. That's medicine in general. You're kind of tricking the system. It's no, before you would have just died or whatever. And now it's no, we can outsmart it by using science. And that's why we are what we are. But when you start to get to this point, it is weird. But I could see it in 500 years. No, this is totally
500.
I mean,
give me 12.
Right now we're towing the line, but I could see I can't believe people were even thinking about this. Isn't the
I
way.
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
We just have a grocery store full of organs that, hey, your heart's bad. Here, pick a new one.
Yep.
You're good to go. We got them on demand.
Yeah.
It could. I don't know.
I'm on.
Is it right? I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, I guess if it improves human beings, I'm on team human every day of the week.
Oh yeah.
So
But if your heart went bad for whatever reason, and somebody's like, "Yeah, we've been like, this is the only solution. You die now, or I got some pig heart that like we've been testing."
Well, the pig thing is, I don't get as excited about. Here's where they lose me.
Quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fully Loaded Tobacco-Free Chew. Check out the description of this video or the show notes to get 20% off your next order.
Because this is inevitably going to go further. Because it always does.
Yeah,
so, all right, let's just say now it's just a pig with a human heart.
Yeah, you're gonna have a full pig man.
Pretty soon it's just going to be a person. It's going to be the island. It's just going to be a clone of you. They took your fetal cells when you were born, and they cloned you, and they were like, "Hey, yeah, no, we have all your organs ready."
It's sitting on an island waiting for.
It's going to cost you $5 million. We'll get you any organ you need, and that's going to come unless somebody gets the stranglehold on it and quits it now.
But can pigs swim? Because I feel like on this island, they're going to get to a point where they're like, "We got to get the." Off this island. So they're going to start swimming.
The island is not full.
And
the island is a movie.
That's a whole nother
The island is a
can
movie.
of worms. Like, we have an island of clones of us that eventually are smart enough to where they're like,
No.
we got to get the off this island.
You're getting lost.
And then we're going to get infiltrated.
Let me explain.
Let
me explain my
Good.
concern. So here's my concern. So right now, let's just say that this thing that we're harvesting organs from is 90% pig and 10% human.
Okay.
What about when it gets to be, this is the gray area that I think that will be exploited. This all sounds weird, and these are mainly my thoughts. But so what about when they keep twisting the genetics, they keep going the other direction, and it gets to be 99% human and 1% pig, and when they harvest this animal, because it's not a human, right? It's 99% human, but it's not a human, and it has pig in it. So when they harvest this animal for the organs, it's just a human, basically, at that point. It probably speaks, it talks, it does anything that it wants. It has all the organs of you. It has 1%, maybe even 0.0001%.
Isn't there a movie about that? Like Pigman would break away and be like, "I deserve rights. Like, why am I treated differently?"
I mean, there should be a movie like that if they haven't made it. But this is a thought experiment in a sense. But I don't. It's a slippery slope, and I think we've seen these other slippery slopes that we used to think were silly come to goddamn fruition now. I'm telling you. We've went down a weird spot when you start to do this, when you're doing chimeras and these hybrids and this shit, because it's going to go to the other way where that thing's going to be basically you, but they can just rip anything out of it and throw it in you. And I'm not saying we're going to have that ability, because we probably wouldn't have enough money, barring the success of this
podcast.
Very wild podcast.
FullyLoadedChew.com.
Yeah.
Discount code Alpha20.
Yeah.
But
All that
you
being
know how
said,
quick that changes too. Because if you were to say like, just a measly 100 years ago, like, "Hey, we're gonna give you a heart transplant. This is what we've done. There's organ donors." You'd be like, "What? Like, that's impossible. Like, only the rich of the rich of rich could get it done. Now you can do it."
yeah, no, I'm not saying that. But here's the thing.
So in 2130,
Let's say you, or 99.9% of you, which is essentially you, existed somewhere else, kept in a cage, fed something, and harvested for its organs. How would you feel about the other person being killed for you?
that's all weird to me. I was just saying you were talking about money, like, "Oh, we won't be able to."
No, we wouldn't be.
If it went down this path, I think it would be very marketable. Like, anyone could do it.
No, not at first.
Not at first. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
well, it's like anything. TVs used to cost $5,000. Now they cost $400.
This is if they start to expedite the Pigman stuff, and we get a bunch of them. Like,
But where are we going to store them?
yeah, no, that's what I mean.
An island. What just throw up cages.
So I haven't researched like you. So aren't there like a ton of worldwide like ethics committees like getting into this? Like, no, we got to stop this and killing certain pigmans. Like,
I don't actually know that to be true, but
I feel like
there could be.
It has to. Like, as great as, because if you were in that scenario where you were like you're about to die, and it's like the only way you're gonna live is if we get you this organ, and this is the means to do it. I think you'd be like, okay, sign me up. If they could like overnight create this,
But that's my point. Is like then it's a question of morality. Like, if at what point is that person a person?
Mm-hmm.
And then are you willing to, if let's say I'm gonna die tomorrow, like, am I willing to kill someone? You know what's crazy is the answer is probably yes if I don't know them. But what if that person is you? Now we're fucking talking.
You just hold on. We just did some Inception.
it's that
we
easy
did some
for them?
Inception shit that I need a second. I need a second to think about.
What happens when the pig man like actually becomes
Quit calling him
smart?
Pigman. Start calling him man.
Yeah. Like he's just out there studying, he switches roles with you, and then he actually kills you, and now it's just the pig man.
Now that's just sci-fi, but I'm in. Number one, I think we just wrote an awesome
sci-fi
script.
novel.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
can see that happening.
no, like, I mean, they've always had indentured servitude until they can actually like create, which could come, like they could like 3D print organs and such.
God, there was this weird movie. It's kind of long. I'm not completely changing topics. I know you guys are always scared about me changing topics.
No.
What's the one with Ryan Reynolds that came out? It's more like VR based though. Like he's just a character.
Free Guy.
Free Guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't that it?
It's like
Where
more
there's
like
a
a
glitch
kid's
and like
movie?
he outsmarted. Like he's just supposed to be the same bot, like whatever. But it kind of reminds me of this scenario because like eventually there was a glitch in the system where he actually understood what was going on, like broke away and like didn't do what the program told him to do. So Pigman it all takes one.
Well, no,
Maybe we shouldn't have done mushrooms with Al because now he's just like outside of the Matrix and he's like, what the f- is going on?
What's funny is that didn't affect it. I was like that long before.
He was like Pigman before.
I had this conversation a year ago, but no, listen. My point is, we're getting to a point where technology is going to start raising a ton of moral questions that a lot of these psychopaths that run the world are like not equipped to handle. Like they're nuts. Like if you look at the real people that like run shit, the Bill Gates, the Ted Turners, these people, like their goal is like depopulation. Like they don't want you around. They want to like make clones so they can live forever. Like they don't want.
Well, that's the other argument about the resources on this planet. But that's why I like getting to another planet too. Instead of this island you're talking about, just figure out how to get these pigmen to like live on Mars fine, and then go out there and get them when you need them for their organs.
Yeah, I know. I think you're the moral problem I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I mean,
There's an argument for both sides of everything.
Yeah, no, the argument. Yeah.
So
no,
you're more like kind of old school in the sense of like you're based on like where now, and then this whole like.
If you could live forever, would you really want to?
no.
It would ruin
I don't
everything.
think you would.
No, it
You
makes
would
what
for a little bit.
These 80 years or whatever we're gonna live like so great. We've gone in this, I think,
Yeah,
before.
I don't think. I don't know
think,
if we have.
No, I think
But
we did when we were eating when we ate
Yeah.
mushrooms. That's when we did.
But no, I think that's part of it. Is like the finality of this is what makes it neat. So
You'd get to be at 80 years. Yeah, you take the pill, and then at 160, you'd be like, I just want to die. But at that point, it's a tough
Yeah,
decision.
there's too many, like they're not doing the heart transplants for an 89-year-old, are they? Like there's too many things that go wrong. What's the
Probably not.
point?
that's again where you start to get to that weird area where you at 89 maybe not, but like if
Your
just say
kids.
Bill Gates.
Oh.
Bill Gates needs a heart transplant at 89. He's probably gonna get a heart transplant because he can buy it.
Yeah. Well, if he wants, that's the thing. I guess I'm looking at it from aside from monetary like means and what you are worth and like what available resources you have. At 89, I'm just like fuck it. The recovery process, if you're opening up my chest and putting a new heart in, there's all sorts of ramifications. Like it's like no way. I don't care if I'm a trillionaire. I'll just be like, it's my time. Let's fucking.
That's a good question. Would you though? That's the thing.
Quality
like,
of life is everything to me.
But you don't
Same
know.
thing. Would you want to live if like at 89 or like I'm gonna if it was like, hey, we're gonna cut your legs off, like, but you can still live, just be in a wheelchair or whatever it might be, but you're gonna be dependent on somebody else. I don't want to be a nuisance to anyone ever.
I agree.
So I feel like at 89 you're already kind of pushing that envelope, depending on if you've kept yourself well kept and like you're able to move around. But
I don't. The reality is, I don't. I agree with you, but I don't think that these psychopaths,
the ones who were like very rich and powerful.
yeah, I don't think that they. I don't think they have any interest in this. I think that they have interest in them living forever, and that maybe silicon bodies or whatever the they think they're gonna do, and like implanting their brains into like a chip, and like then they think it's them, but it's obviously not. But like, there's so many inner workings of the brain and the gut and this kind of thing. They have no they're talking about. Like in their heads, this is their world. This is their psychopathic.
Well, when you get that rich, what else do you have to achieve other than
immortality?
Exactly.
But the thing is, they could do it
or extending your
by
life.
dying.
Yeah, not even immortality, but just even extending your life another 5-10 years. Like, Sean, if you had like $10 billion, whatever Bill Gates is worth, you've achieved everything. Like, you've hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. You've gotten all the women that you want with him. But
Epstein.
Bill Gates is like confirmed. His wife left him because of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. She admitted that on The View.
But anyways, what would you really want? Like, you've already dominated everything. Like, the only thing you could do is, hey, I'll just try to work on continuing to live longer.
If I was happy. But while I feel like at 90, you just got to be like, but
they're trying everything. You know, Peter Nygaard, the mogul, Peter Nygaard was doing this thing with the girls. It's wacky. He was getting these like young models and talking about like having babies so he could drink their blood and shit. I mean, this is like what these psychopaths do.
I mean, that's just weird.
So
weird.
But this is like
it's
the young blood.
That's a mental illness.
But that's what they have. There's
Yeah,
this group of psychopaths that they think they run the world because they did get rich in the world,
and they have so much money that they just don't have anything better.
I think you're right on with the right. Like, what else is there to accomplish? Like, if you're, I keep using Bill Gates, but he's just the most well known. But like, if you're him, it is the only other thing on the list
to accomplish.
Right.
That's basically at this point. It's you cannot do it.
No.
So like, what are you going to try to accomplish? Well, I've already changed the world with Microsoft or whatever the billionaires claim to fame is, but might as well just try to live longer.
It's definitely a part of it.
Yeah, make the world a better place, but still, quality of life is everything to me. So
agreed.
If I was 98 years old, knowing the recovery process as of today, it would be like,
I think they're going for silicon bodies, but transplant their consciousness, which they think they can do.
Yeah,
and that's going to be their thing, and they want to convert to a world with no biologic life forms. That's why they want to get rid of carbon. That's why it is.
You almost have to suspend belief when you're trying to think about what these people would be interested in, because like we don't have as much money as them. We're never going to, because we're not interested in doing those types of things. So like us, it's like, okay, I don't want to live forever, but I want to age well. So it's like, why do I want to live to 100 if the last 10 years of my life were miserable because my body is just destroyed because I'm so old, right? I would rather, age well. So I'd rather age well and be able to still do things until I'm 90 and kick the bucket, as opposed to living that last 10 years and being like, oh, like I'm basically in a wheelchair. People are having to take care of me. So you have to suspend belief and say, Sean, what would you want if you basically ran the world because you had so much money? Like, you could buy and pay for anything that you ever wanted. What would you want to do? There's only one accomplishment. Either space or live forever. Or live longer, I should say. Maybe not live forever.
They trend towards the space, too. I mean, that's definitely a thing. But, yeah, the other thing is immortality.
That's where I would trend.
I love space.
I too love space. But, no, I agree.
Where's this measly little rock?
Jesus.
We won't go to space again.
No, that's what's wild about that class of people. You're familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
No, you're like naming people that I've never heard of that I guess are
no. This was like a thing.
Georgia Guidestones?
Georgia Guidestones. It's not a band. What it was.
It does sound like a band.
It does sound like a band. The Georgia Guidestones were these things that were erected by Ted Turner. Ted Turner famously owned TBS, CNN, things like that. And
the Atlanta Braves on national TV.
You talking to the mic?
Yep. Yeah, it will help. It will help if the mic's near your mouth. But yeah, so what you have to look it up. You see, this is the problem.
You're schooling us,
I should have
man.
educated you guys. We should have made you guys read about this. But the Georgia Guidestones were basically this thing that they erected. I want to say in the 90s, where they set these goals, and these goals were like disturbing. And this was like his billionaire class friends, and it was like world population of 500 million, reduction of XYZ. It was just all depopulation, like basically culling cattle, which is how these people view us. Like, think about the lowest person on the rung of society, how you may view them or how I may view them. They view everyone in that realm. Like, we could go look at a homeless person and be like, this person has no value, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's number one, that's not true. This person does have an opportunity to get better, has an opportunity to change their life, opportunity to do something different. Everyone has it within them. These psychopaths don't believe that, and they believe that about us. They want 500 million people. There's 9 billion right now, or 8 billion. These are the goals that they set out. This is the people that run the world. That Georgia Guidestones is just blown up. Some fucking terrorists blew it up. Yeah, go look it up. This was happened recently.
It was in Georgia?
Yes, it's in some rural part of Georgia. Look at the Georgia Guidestones. It's really wild. And they lay out all these goals for humanity, and it's done by Ted Turner and his billionaire buddies.
We need a friend to sit here and pull up videos.
I know. This would be perfect for
I'm
that.
thinking
interject it.
Baldy.
No, I don't think you pull it off. But the reality is, yeah, it'd be good because then I wouldn't sound quite as crazy as I do right now. You see it, think about it. But yeah, that's the reality of it. I feel like and that's when I get into those thought processes about everything that we are in. I'm always like, these these people control every ounce of your day.
But if you go to
because of something that's what if you've done something that's great for all of humankind or the globe in general, it's but some of these guys, it's just random luck.
Nonsense.
Where it's whatever, a PayPal. All of a sudden, you're the richest guy in the world, Elon Musk. But he's trying to do good, or
No, I don't put him in this category.
Yeah, I know, but some of it, it's come on, it wasn't even that, but they're in this $1 billion status, and then once you're up there,
Well, it's the robber barons. It's the that class of people.
Yeah, I mean, just the
people that got uber rich and their family, in the 1910s, their family became loaded on oil money. That's the class of human beings that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They never had to work a day in their lives. The Vanderbilts, these sorts of people.
Vanderbilt was a genius, though. He connected us.
I'm not saying these people aren't geniuses. I'm saying but that family is going to, or the downstream
strikes when opportunities hot. But anyway, I get it. But it's one thing that we definitely disagree on, I can tell you are super all about humans only, where I'm more about all species.
Yeah, I know.
You err on the side of human and just dismiss every other species.
This
of
is
animal.
one thing that I always just. No, I don't. I think that there's just ample opportunity for us to be completely coexisting. I'm not saying that humans have a negative effect on their surrounding area, but if you look at a map of the world at night, there's areas where there's lights, but there's a lot of areas where there's not. We can have a thriving animal population and human population, and we can then go off planet. It can all be done.
It's a very
every one of these scare tactics, though, they've been
you
been
obviously
told forever.
You're a smart guy, but it's such a delicate balance. We've destroyed so much, and it's
we've also built some up. I agree. I agree, but
the ecosystem is obviously there's things that are now extinct, no longer here.
But that's a natural process too.
Yeah, well, there's natural, and then there's fossil
things
fuels
that
and so many things that we do. Blah blah blah. We can get into all those are separate topics. We don't have that much time. But I've noticed over the course of time talking to you about this stuff, you were very human centric, and then you kind of just dismiss all the ramifications and the chain reactions of things that happen. Because I think we are at a point where we can't just keep reproducing. I mean, in our lifetimes, the world population has doubled, and it's you can't keep that trajectory up, or we're gonna run out of everything, and we're gonna destroy this planet.
That trajectory is not kept up.
Well, I know of the last 10 years, it's slowed down a bit.
No,
we went
it's
from
not slowed down a bit. We in the United States,
1980 it was
below
4 billion. Now we're up to 8 billion. It's doubled since we were pretty much born.
Well, that's because of developing countries.
Oh yeah. Well, the United States is still.
We're below replacement.
We were we were under 200 million, I think, in 1980, and we're
no. I'm saying our rate right now is below replacement.
Okay.
Rate.
Yeah, which is
so we would have a declining population.
But just looking at humans as us as one species, we are just one species on this planet. Overall, on this planet, we have doubled in the last 40 years.
We can do it more
nothing else
responsibly.
that's doubled. We've ruined. Maybe there are.
There's plenty of things that double. We've cows have quintuple.
Yeah, because of us. Chickens have too. Like, come on, you know what I'm talking about. Things that we're not just like literally making sure they double so that they can feed us, and we just have the worst lives in the world.
It's adaptation. These animals will adapt, and they still have plenty of space to roam. You're not wrong. I mean, I do agree. If we are, as a species, going to continue to live the way we do of like our throwaway culture and shit, like, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. If we can get back to like, what's crazy is like, if you really broke it down to like, all right, like we got back to like us owning our own shit, where I mean, like you lived in a group of 50 people. If you had 1 acre and 5 cows, you could feed that group of people for a year. A 1 acre garden and 5 cows. You could feed a group of 50. There's so much space on the earth. The problem is we do it now in these little weird things where we monocrop everything and we have to kill everything in that area to grow nothing but corn for 50 miles, and you have feedlots of cows. Like, we do it incorrectly. There was a way that it was done,
and we're so far along that path.
It's
like,
too far gone. But no, you're right in that sense. But
I mean, just like something as simple as like, I know it's very isolated. Any city in the United States, I mean, mind you, it was just measly 250 years ago where we came to this country, and it was more like 300 years ago, but nevertheless, and it's just nothing, just nature. Then you look at these concrete jungles we have everywhere, and it's like there was habitats there. There was,
I know,
and it's just destroyed. You got this and that street.
Go plant like 10 trees in your yard and watch the habitat.
That's the mentality you always have, though, and I don't agree with it. It's like, oh yeah, it's fine, like whatever. But it's like,
I mean, yeah, no, but are animals going to be in that area specifically? Yeah, but I feel like human beings, like you have them, and then they invent new ways to make things better. That's the beauty of humans. But the problem is, right now we're on a bad path.
Yeah.
But could we improve it? Yeah, drastically. And I think we will.
But for us to exist, we have to take over certain areas.
Yeah,
right?
no, we have to. Well, for a wolf to exist, go into nature and find out. Like, you feel like, I killed a deer when I built my house.
I'm not even
didn't have a
talking
habitat.
about-
Like, mother, go to nature.
I'm not talking about killing
bears
Bambi
eating faces
and like forcing like the forest fires and all the animals running away. Like, where do I go? It's like, I'm not talking about that. I'm literally talking about like we're going to be our own demise. I feel like because we're populating too much, and then we're destroying what we depend on. If it's a very delicate like chain reaction when you start talking about and like the coral reefs and then this and that, and then how it affects this and like how that's going to spread and like how the rainforests feed off of that, and then it only takes like 100 years, and it's like, holy shit, what the f- we just
that
did?
coral reef thing is like a hoax. You know that? The Great Coral Reef is like stronger than it's ever been.
I didn't.
Go check it out. Yeah, I just read this the other day. It was in Science Magazine.
We only have 45 seconds left on this one.
Actually, we have 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
But no,
you put a little
to
time
that
stop on?
to that point, like we were saying, like I do agree that there's a way where we could get to a point that we could do it responsibly. The problem, I think population here on Earth is not even remotely close to where the carrying capacity is far more than we're doing now. The problem is that our culture is such shit. It's just plastics and oil and all these things that are bad.
Yeah.
And it can get better, and it will get better. That's the thing. It just will. Like, because we'll innovate our way out of it, which I think we are very capable of doing. But I hate when it's artificially pushed. I think that these things will solve themselves because out of necessity.
Obviously, we're the most intelligent. We've evolved to that point. I always go back to just like we don't ever like that mindset that you have that I disagree with. Is like we don't talk about any other. Like you're not worried about any other species of anything. To like, no, we got to keep replacing that and whatnot. It's always about humans and we got to grow and our population needs to grow. But it's like anything else. It's there to support us. And I'm different there. I'm just like, no, we coexist in this landscape together.
I love animals. I love that stuff. But I want them to exist. But I also think, like, I mean, gun to my head, almost any animal on Earth, I put a human ahead of them.
Yeah, and that's the same mentality that those billionaires have, though. It's just like...
No, that's the opposite mentality.
No, they have the mentality of we're up here and, like, they treat us like animals, and you disagree with that.
Yeah, because we're not animals.
Yeah, but...
Because we're the same thing as them.
But we are... I kind of think differently. Me and Molly, like...
I'm not trying to kill our dogs. But
yeah.
I'm not trying to kill anyone's dog. I'm saying, like... there's just not a perfect solution. And the other thing is that to continue
What's
with.
all this stuff that you're doing, by the way? You're freaking me out.
This is Justin.
I'm just making sure we're still
right.
recording so we can
No, but to
continue.
get to that point of like, yes, we're going to have to go interplanetary and all this, which I think is a real thing. But I also believe that if you had true population decline, you could probably have like a maintenance and you'd be okay. But population decline would be a big fat problem. Big fat problem.
Yeah, the economy and
It would just collapse.
yeah.
If you're selling to fewer people that existed than when you started, and you have to like run businesses and stuff, I think it's a big problem. Elon's on board with that. That's not.
I guess from that argument, I can see that aspect of it, but I don't. When you talk about replacing like the elderly are dependent on like us working class, like you need the nurses, you need the this, the that to support them in the hospitals and to give them their medication and to make sure that they can have some level of quality of life when they're in a nursing home and all that. And then if you're not replacing yourself, sort of thing.
There's
The
just
whole
no
idea
growth
of like
in
the
the
economy.
There's no growth. There's no
Because
growth.
we could go old school in a second. Like if we're literally talking about our species surviving and taking care of this globe and not being our own demise, it's like whatever the economy. I'm not worried about the stock market. Like
Well, we could.
No, but it's a direct. I mean, it's directly affected by like the population and the number of people buying. You know what I mean?
see, we're talking about the economy though, like the
Yeah, but-
commerce that we know it as of today. If we're talking about that versus just human life existing and making sure we're here a million years from now,
Obviously, but if you want to go to an agrarian society, you're going to have like you'd have 90% population die off, or you'd have zombie hordes roaming the streets. Like people are so domesticated, they
I know.
can't shoot, they can't hunt, they can't cook, they can't grow, they can't do any of these things anymore. Everyone's doing it for them. And so, yeah, if you went to an agrarian society, you would have a
yeah,
complete
I'm not talking about
die-off.
flipping it, but I guess those are the two extremes of the spectrum that I'm talking about. Like, I'm not like when we talk. Never mind. We're getting
no,
off of this.
say it. We got
No,
28
but there's two
we
different
got
ways. Like when you're worried about like, yeah, no, the economy and like there's gonna be this chain reaction there, or like I'm talking about the chain reaction of literally humans potentially like ruining this fucking planet, and we don't exist because literally it's our own demise. We overpopulate to the point it's just catastrophic fucking warfare, and we're all like trying to survive. There's resources not here. It's polluted. That sort of like I'm like
If we just died off tomorrow, though, like let's just say every human died tomorrow, the Earth would just like be fixed in about
Yeah, I mean,
18 months.
we're definitely.
it'd all be covered up. It'd all be weeds, and mushrooms would just eat every fucking ounce.
and
of
the animals would be
everything.
so happy. God
There you go.
Damn, those humans got the hell out
I
of
think
here.
the Earth is just going to fix itself as we go, and it keeps
Well,
doing it.
that's
It's done it for
Ever.
how many millions of years, billions of years. Like they've had craters, they've had complete loss of life. Like think of the dinosaurs. Like almost every ounce of life died on the planet, and then what happened?
Yeah.
It rebirthed.
Yeah, we're definitely going to
There'll
be.
be a new type of human.
yeah, in a few billion
It could
years.
be a dinosaur or it could be us. I don't know. But
We'll
take a
definitely
while
kill
to get it-
ourselves for sure. Like, we'll do it to ourselves probably before. Actually, I don't know. Before.
well, just think like, what is it? 20,000 years that we've supposedly like kind of started to evolve and take over this planet, and now we went from like a few of us like caveman style to 8 billion. Who knows? We could go another 10,000 years, and then we all fucking die off somewhere. It could be an asteroid hitting us and a big cloud and no sun. Who knows?
Or most people die. Most people die, and then you just have to kind of restart. Right? There's a small few,
That's what happened with
a
Atlantis.
small amount of people.
Yeah. I wonder what do you think the easiest way to like survive an asteroid hitting?
I think there's an easy way to survive an asteroid.
Be on the opposite side of the
Like
Earth, I would
creating-
imagine
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
where
and
it
then,
hit
like,
from
you-
where it hits.
You'd have to be prepped like a mother.
Yeah.
You'd have to have number one because you'd have to have real storage of food.
like long, not just a week.
No, I'm
like,
talking years.
Not
Yeah.
just a week.
Well, because who's holding multiple years worth of food in their house?
Yeah, no,
It's-
you'd have to have your own like cropping system like identified.
Yeah, no, and then beyond that, so then but you also have to fight off the zombie hordes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
And I'm not
like,
saying they're like zombie. I'm saying like you're talking about a bunch of starving people like coming to your house. Like we are like a week away without electricity from like me having to shoot a bunch of my neighbors.
It's a funny
Yeah.
when you
I mean, like that's
no,
real.
like it's when the whole health crisis thing happened in 2020. I'm not gonna lie, one of my like initial thoughts within the first couple of weeks, couple of months was, okay, think about all the people that are in your neighborhood. Think about your next door neighbors. Can you defend yourself if you have to. Not saying that you would expect it to, but I thought to myself, okay, I've seen that guy, I can take him. I've seen that guy, I can take him.
You can't take any of them if they got a gun, though.
But what I'm talking about is the natural thought process I was going through, right? And I never thought I would ever do it, but it was okay. As a human, you're thinking about protecting yourself, and if you have a family or a wife, you're thinking to yourself, I got to protect them. So let me start eyeing up and sizing up everybody that is in my close circle, and thinking, okay, if I have to, can I basically this person up? And if I have to, could I kill this person to make sure that they're not going to come steal my food and I can continue to live?
Yeah.
It got me to that almost caveman thinking of...
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. We've been so domesticated.
Survival.
You're a week away from that. You're a week without electricity away from this.
People were freaking out about toilet paper. You might want to think about your goddamn food situation first. Like, toilet paper.
That's what I'm saying. So if
I'm
you
a
had like
full-blown, dude, I'm like in now.
if you were like an underground botanist where you had like this situation where you have somehow light power but your own water source from like a underground like
You'd have to have
water
years
table
of like gas for a generator.
So much.
Well, that's kind of simple thinking, but there's got to be another way.
You'd have storable foods. It'd have to be storable foods. A lot of those storable foods are good for 20 years.
But on top of that, think about if it happened. I'd be thinking, okay, I need to group up with people that I know. Well, my sisters are in North Carolina. I ain't going to contact them because everything that I can call them on or contact them on is down. So I need to find Al. I need to find Sean. I need to find our other friends. How the are you going to do that?
And we need to talk about and then we start talking about like calories per day per person. And then we're like getting into some wild shit.
Yeah, right.
Shit. You know what we should do? That
Let's
we're talking
ration
about?
just for fun this month.
we all need to pick a place to say, hey, if things go really bad and communication comes down, we should just say, hey, we'll all just meet at this spot no matter what.
Don't say it on here because we're
not going to
steal
say it
all
on here.
my supplies.
But I'm like just not thinking about that. Like, I'm not like a doomsday prepper, but I think it kind of makes sense to have that contingency plan.
Of course
say,
it does.
Hey, Sean, Al, all of our other friends, let's meet at this spot. You know,
I'm with you.
If all communication goes down, let's just all meet up there. We all trust each other. We all know each other. Bring your families. We'll fucking defend everything. We're gonna eat. We're gonna fucking kill, and we're gonna fucking thrive.
But you better have a lot of ammo. You need a lot of ammo and a lot of storable food.
That's why I like for whatever reason my mind always goes like deeper into this rock that we're on. I feel like that's the safest place.
Like, you mean this rock?
Yeah,
Earth?
Earth. Yeah.
Oh,
well, you know who's got all the underground bunkers?
Yeah, like
Billionaires.
in my mind, like like
They
Bane
got it
style
already.
Batman, like the sewer systems.
Yeah.
Because then you're like nobody else is getting down there, and if you wanted to bunker down, they gotta come at you if you have your area, or you create your own. Like
You're trying to give it back to the people.
exactly.
Oh, Sean turns into a Ninja Turtle. He's like, God, I got the
I need
sewer.
to go in the sewer. I don't necessarily want to live in a sewer, but I understand what you're
I mean,
saying.
you'll live in a fucking sewer if you have to.
Well, the reality
Like
is,
you have
if
a basement.
fucking
Just think if all of a sudden you did some Shawshank Redemption stuff, and you had like a tunnel, some cavity somewhere that would go somewhere else. It would take forever for anyone else to find. And if they did find it,
you could shoot them
yeah,
easy as
they're just coming at you through the tunnel, and you got so much food and whatever situation you have to grow crops. I don't know. We haven't thought that through yet. But like, they can't get at you except for this one tunnel way. And if you have all that, it's just like, there's no way. It's just isolated.
Yeah, you're right about that. Underground might be the way to build our doomsday prepper fortress. But, you know, the tricky thing is if a asteroid big enough hit, it's essentially like a nuclear bomb that's way bigger than.
I mean, it depends where it hits, though, because like
Yeah,
I said,
if it doesn't
it's
hit
on the
by
other
us.
side of the Earth, like literally on the other side of the Earth from where we're at, we could like shit's gonna be real fucked, and we're all gonna have to meet up at our spot. But
we can get by.
but
you're gonna die. Like it's gonna get weird.
Yeah.
It's gonna get weird when like we're deciding like, all right, like you and I are like whispering like, hey, should we like kill Sean and eat him now?
I don't. It would take a while to get to that point, but it would get to that point for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I think it would take longer.
It's
than,
like, all right, which one of my friends do I want to eat?
But
first?
it would take. I think it would take longer than you think because
Yeah, we'd survive for a good 6-8 months.
I'm pretty confident in our group of friends to where we would like.
That's where you're wrong.
We'd go You think?
No, I'd kill every one of you to feed my
No,
kids.
no. I think, of course, obviously, but I think
Of course, you'd kill us to feed to your
Yeah,
live
I get it.
and
I'd kill
Lucy.
you guys if I was
Girls
trying
are
to
gonna
feed my family.
survive. I'm gonna kill Uncle Jarrad and we're gonna eat him.
We're gonna start with Uncle Baldy. He's got some nice
Yeah, he's got
meat.
good meat.
He's got some meat, but I think that we would definitely. I think we'd be fine. We'd figure it out.
You better start prepping.
Well,
now,
it depends. Yeah, the whole thing is like how that would actually.
then. Prep it now. Prep it now.
Because when those asteroids, like depending on the size, just like the sun's gonna be blocked out for
That's the problem.
ever. I mean, well,
You're gonna
it
get
could be
sick
like,
as shit too.
Yeah, so you have to have like artificial sun, like light, and all that figured out.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna
Guys,
do
I
this.
think we just crossed a line that of people that I always make fun of.
No.
Like we just crossed.
These people were smart.
We just crossed that line.
You know what?
And I cannot
Hey,
believe I just.
Did it go off though?
Yeah, but I restarted it.
the dark screen
That,
that, freaks me out.
That,
Oh, yeah, no,
that
it's not.
lizard has vitamin D bulbs, which is the main issue. You know what? I can store up some vitamin D bulbs.
All right.
All right, I'm real close now. I've
I
already
don't know,
started
'cause I
most
have
of
a
my
feeling
prepping.
in like 5 years, you're gonna look at all the shit in your basement, and you're gonna be like,
It still just sits there.
I bought all this shit because this podcast
Dude,
was on,
you-
and nothing's
you-
happened.
you know
And
what?
20 years after that, it's gonna be like, motherfucker.
That's insurance
all
you can
this
eat.
shit.
That's insurance you can eat. You talk about insurance. How much money have you paid in fucking car insurance, life insurance, health
Yeah.
insurance, that insurance, and you never fucking used
I
it?
just try not to go too deep into that rabbit hole, if that makes sense,
Hey.
right? I don't want to be so open-minded that my brain falls out, for lack of a better
Well,
term.
I want to be prepared for any situation should it arise because I think it's a good way to be.
just to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've exhausted this.
Thanks for checking out this podcast. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up button before you go. If you want to watch us continue the conversation, then click on this video to your left next. Quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fully Loaded Tobacco-Free Chew. Check out the description of this video or the show notes to get 20% off your next order.